Life. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Studio. Okay. Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to one and all. I hope you're not that tired today because there is so much to discuss today, all right? But before we do start, we'll take another 5 minutes to make sure more people are joining in, more people are becoming a part of this wonderful live trading webinars that we keep hosting every day from Monday to Friday. So we take another 5 minutes, get your pen, paper, coffee, water, whatever is required. Get your food. If you haven't eaten your lunch, get your lunch too. But make sure you keep being a part of this live streaming session. All right? We'll see back in 5 minutes. All right. A very good afternoon to each and every one of you out here. It's so lovely spending so much of time with you, interacting with you, helping you learn and earn at the same time. All right, so I hope you all have had your lunch. Right now it is 2:15 p.m. in the afternoon in India, and right now it is 12:47 a.m. All it's crossed 47 minutes past noon Dubai Standard Time. This is harsh, all right? I have been associated with the financial markets for the last 8 years. I mainly specialize in trading forex, commodities, and US indices such as gold, oil, S&P 500, Dow Jones, and now we even look at the Indian share market and its individual stocks, right? Now here at Dolphin Capital, it's been a pleasure working with them because they are so dedicated to make sure that we provide you with the right set of information, not just in terms of information, in terms of analysis, but we also provide you with hot stocks. So we provide you with analysis, we analyze the markets, we provide you with hot stocks, as well as during the third live streaming session, we provide you with technical trading information regarding technical analysis, right? So when you're getting three benefits, I'm like, what is stopping you from being a part of such a lively and vibrant community, right? So I hope everyone has got their paper, pen, water, coffee, whatever is required to get through the next 1.5 hour. All right, I can see comments coming in. I can see Sophia. Watch your throat and drink plenty of water. Thank you, Sophia. It means a lot to me, definitely. When we are talking for so long, and we have to make sure to keep it as energetic, to keep the enthusiasm to the next level, right? You need to make sure, right? I mean, I cannot see any one of you sleeping out here, right? This ain't any kind of school. This is not a school where I'm a professor who's just going to talk in a monotonous voice and make you bored. I'm not here to make you bored. I'm here to make you money as well as make trading interesting, correct? So I can see Mr. Lee again with his regular emoticons. I still am trying to figure out what that means, but nonetheless, all right, let's get started. All right. So as we had discussed in the first live streaming session during morning, the prices on the Nifty, all right, the prices on the Nifty and the Sensex. We're going to talk about them cumulatively, all right? The Sensex, which is the index listed on the BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange, and then we have Nifty, which is listed on the NSE, right, the National Stock Exchange. So as you can see, prices had gapped up, right? This all has been discussed in the previous live webinar, but since we need to, have a picture in mind before we can come to the current market conditions, it is very important to give a gist about what is happening previously as in since today morning, right? Today being Monday, it's for all those other people who have joined in recently or who haven't attended the morning seminar, live webinar. We were talking about how the market has gapped up compared to Friday, correct? So Friday, the prices had started to show some kind of bullish sentiment. With Monday gapping up, right? The gap up has been on a percentage of around 0.68%, quite significant. But with also the onset of many financial statements from various companies which are to be announced this week, people are a little skimmish. People are a little skeptical about what they expect, right? How the company is going to perform. Will the speculated financial data match with their current financial performance? That is the entire question. So people need to bear in mind that there is going to be a lot of uncertainty during this week, particularly with more than 425 companies out there in the Indian stock market going to publish their financial data from the 21st of October, which is today, all the way to 25th, right till Friday. come on, like not all the 400 companies can give their financial data today. So they have been allocated separate timings, right? Separate days with separate timings to make sure that the data have been allocated as per their time schedules, correct? So coming back to what we had seen in the morning, the prices had gapped up with the bearish pressure coming into the markets based on what we had discussed in terms of the 425 companies which are ready to pour out their financial data to the masses to understand how well the markets are performing, how well their speculated data are going to be compared to their actual performance once the financial data is out. Now, moving forward, we had even talked about Mazgaon, right? So, Mazgaon shipbuilding company. It's a shipbuilding, ship manufacturing, ship servicing company, right? Mazgaon, right? Mazgaon Dock Shipbuild Company. So, we were talking about this company because in the morning, the entire focus was based on the shipping industry, as we had discussed even before. The shipbuilding industry, along with the airline, basically we are encompassing all the trade, all right, the trade and shipping industry, which is basically the backbone for any market to thrive. Economies rely completely on trade, right? There are things that are being traded on, there are things that are being traded off. We are importing as well as we are exporting, right, as a country. So the shipbuilding as well as the airline transportation industry has taken significant expansion in terms of its productivity, profitability, almost 141% as it was discussed in the morning. The reason we are talking about Mazgaon is because this has been one of the leading shares which has been spearheading, right? Which has been spearheading the bullish sentiment, right? Injecting the economy or the Indian index with that bullish sentiment that yes, prices are doing better. As well as that, we had even uh, connecting all the dots, connecting the financial data and connecting the technical data. We understood that this particular company with a very robust, a very strong financial background, right? The company running from the 1700s all the way to present has done exceptionally well, has been able to weather out its own downfalls, its own corrections, but nonetheless, based from a technical point of view, the prices has created the first higher high, correct? Now, based from a technical perspective, once price creates a higher high, a shift in trend, right, from a bearish, as we had discussed, from a bearish, now right now it's has inched towards that bullish momentum where we can see now the bears are getting weaker and the bulls are getting stronger. So Sophia was one of the first ones to ask the question that should we enter immediately or on the retest, and I had informed that we wait for price to come around 4,500 area to go long. That is where we would be planning to look for longs. All right, now coming back to the current heading for today's live streaming webinar. Raymond Lifestyle stocks jumped 4% after Motilal Oswal's buy rating. Now you have to understand Motilal Oswal. I'm pretty much sure all of you who are a part of this live streaming session are aware that Motilal Oswal is one of the biggest brothers when it comes to the brokerage industry in the Indian market. So when a well reputed, a big brother of a brokerage company which has a very big share, which has a very big share in the brokerage industry in India, when it provides a buy rating for a company like Raymond, which itself goes back to the 19, right? It's almost a decade old company, almost touching 70, 75 years. Very old company, very robust company. People love wearing clothes, especially from Raymond, because the way they manufacture their fabric to the way the tailors design the suits, because they're mainly into the formal suits, the formal wearing, right? Especially for men. They do cater to women, but the main focus is towards men. So it has built its brand image. People respect the company. People look forward to buying, being a part of this company, right? So let's go to the articles that we have come across for this particular live streaming session. Raymond Lifestyle stocks 4% after Motilal Oswal's buy rating. As you can see, spun from less than 4%. Remember, a 4% increment based on a big and a well-reputed brokerage firm signifies a lot of curiosity as to why. There are so many other reputed companies, manufacturing companies too, right? But the focus is on Raymond. The shares were trading at 2450, right? Now it has shot up by 86 rupees, right? Or 3.7%. They basically have targeted. Motilal Oswal has assigned a target price of 3,200, right? Implying a potential upside of 30% from its current levels. The brokerage expects Raymond's lifestyle revenue and net profit to grow from an annualized rate of 11 and 15 between 2024 and 20. So these are the projections that they are focusing on Raymond. But with all the fuss about the financial number crunching, when a big reputed broker instills or puts a thought and says it out, and backs up a company like Raymond, there is going to be public sentiment which is going to drive prices of Raymond up. Now, definitely, they do have to make sure that they're operating, their manufacturing is at par, because remember, when such companies come out with such solid decisions to support or backup companies. But for worst case scenarios, looking at the past, when the company is not able to project themselves at the level at which their uh, their parent, I would call it as institution or a brokerage for this matter, instills that vibe or that decision, that bullish sentiment that prices should be going up. They need to make sure that they can prove it in practical life also, right? When there is a distrust or when there is a disbalance between the two, there is severe consequences on stocks, right? Because it's the reputation of the brokerage firm as well as the reputation of the company, right, that is showcasing its performance. So coming back to, let's look at the charts to see what Raymond has to offer. Remember, it is Raymond Lifestyle. Remember, there are many companies out there which have sister companies. I wouldn't call it a subsidiary, but sister companies. So just make sure, because with Reliance, companies like Reliance, Tata, Adani, Raymond, they are so diversified, right? Make sure that we are using the right symbol, right? So it's Raymond Lifestyle, all right? Let's go to Trading View to see what it shows. Raymond Lifestyle, all right? So we have Raymond Limited, which is listed on the NSE. We got Raymond, which is listed on the BSE. And we have Raymond Lifestyle. We are looking at Raymond Lifestyle. Remember, it has to be for today's news event that is focusing. This article which has come out, on it's today, right? So it is an updated article. So the news events are already taken into consideration, are already taken into factor for prices to appreciate. Now, based on this, I'm trying to see why is the data not coming. One second. Let me go to BSC and check. So for these two companies, maybe they have initially started again injecting funds, or it's a new product altogether, because they were focusing mainly on Raymond. If you go to Raymond Limited, all right, there is clear data, but maybe now they have come up with a special uh, another subsidiary or another sister stock to call it as Raymond Lifestyle, right? So plus or minus, if you look at Raymond Limited and if you look at Raymond Lifestyle, the chart for the last consecutive, I'm talking from 17th of September to 21st October. So the last month, I guess, because if you see on the chart, the price, or maybe they had offered an IPO at 5th of September, so this is a pretty relatively very new stock compared to its parent company, which is Raymond Limited. But nonetheless, for the last 1 month, if you look at the chart and if you go back to Raymond, they are almost similar. So we can consider Raymond Limited as well. In terms of its movement based on Motilal Oswal's decision to offered a buy option, right, to Raymond, expecting the price to shoot up by another 30%, which is very significant for the upcoming years. Now, Sophia is asking, foreign capital has been selling, right, Sophia? The foreign institutional investors have been selling, right? This has been discussed previously also in the last couple of live trading webinars where a huge chunk of the foreign investment institutions are parking out their money from the Indian economy. They are parking out their capital from the index and the stocks and putting it in growing or those economies, especially in the Southeast Asia side, such as China or Taiwan, where apparently they are significant or stable or appreciated profits compared to India, where currently, based on the pessimistic outlook of things happening across, because remember, everything is connected. Every country is connected to each other country. I'm talking of countries that are developing and developed, right? The ones that are having huge visions for their own countries, for the betterment of their own people. So, and with the going geopolitical war, we have Iran, Israel, Palestine, and on this side we have, even North Korea having issues with South Korea as well as China, Japan, and in the north with Russia and Ukraine. But nonetheless, it is what it is, and we just have to make sure that how we can make decisive actions in terms of doing our reconnaissance, in terms of doing our analysis, and trying to connect as many dots as possible, and then taking the right decisions. Sophia is writing, this pullback is too big. Panic. Okay, right. The pullback is too big, but once you go to the higher time frames, right? Remember, I've come to a 4 hour. Let's go to a 1 hour to sleep. What a daily, sorry, a daily time frame candlestick time frame to see. Remember, with strong credentials, quickly let's glance into first to understand just about Raymond and its financial data, and then let's try to connect the dots. So going back to the web page, as usual, we go to screener, right? Screener.in, and we have typed Raymond, right? Raymond. It's already over here. Looking at the data, remember the company has delivered good profit growth of 57.8, right? So this is CAGR, correct? What is CAGR? For people who do not understand what is CAGR, compound annual growth rate, correct? It shows you the average return on your investments, correct? CAGR 57, which is pretty substantial. The company has good return on equity. How much dollar is it able to make, on its business? How much of dollars is it able to generate on its operation? That is ROE. The track record for 3 years is 30.6 compared to any other index. I mean, when you compare a company to an index, we use that index as a reference to gauge the performance of a company. Anything around an area of around 12 to 24% on a yearly basis is considered to be good, is deemed to be fit. So anything above, this comes to 30.6 in the last 3 years based on ROE, which is pretty substantial. Then you have some negative outlooks also about the company, which are the earnings include and other income of 7,600 crore. Debtor says days have increased. Debtor days have increased from 47 to 56. Remember, Raymond is into manufacturing, so it requires a lot of fabrics. It requires a lot of materials, right, for using, for develop for buildings proper suits, correct? So it requires there's a lot of financial money that goes into buying and selling of goods and services. So debtor days have increased from 47 to 56.9 days. Working capital days have increased from 70 to 202. Now these might be some internal conditions based on what, how the market conditions are affecting Raymond as a company. But nonetheless, when you have a company that is backed by Motilal Oswal, which is one of the biggest and the most reputable brokers out there, at least in the Indian stock market, they are onto something, right? So why would we not want to look for opportunities? Are we going to have clear opportunity? We will see that right on the charts. But in order to connect the dots, we always start with going through, researching through articles. Once we have understood and read article, then we come on to the index. After we analyze the index, we come to the individual stock. And once we come to the individual stock and connect all the dots, then we see whether are there any trade opportunities viable or not, right? So before we continue forward, I want to make sure everyone is awake. I hope no one is sleeping or drowsing. I get it. Every time during the during this second live streaming session in the day, when people have had their lunch, people generally, all right. I don't want to stereotype, but people generally feel a little drowsy, right? So no problem. Drink some water. Make sure you're having your fluids. If you want to have caffeine, coffee, tea, make sure you have it, right? Because it is very important that you stay sharp. The quarterly results, as you can see, has December was at its peak with having of with sales hitting 2,386. It depreciated in March, and right now it depreciated even a little more comparatively to its previous quarterly results. Right, expenses have also increased compared to the last quarter. Operating profit has decreased. Profit before tax has shot quite substantially, and this generally would be based, with the backing of Motilal Oswal. This is what I assume. Net profit, remember, compared to all its previous years, I'm talking all the way from 2021 to 2024, when a net profit of 7,367. So there is something that they're doing right, correct? As an I mean, the data never finishes, right? When it comes to number crunching, the data never finishes. Now let us try to understand it based on from a technical point of view, right? Let's go to trading view. Let's open Raymond. Remember, and let me reiterate, there are two or three ticker symbols, right? We got Raymond Limited, which is listed on NSE, Raymond Limited listed on BSE, and a new kind of a baby, company or a branch of Raymond, right, to come up with their own new stock ticker, which is Raymond Lifestyle. We cannot get into Raymond Lifestyle because we do not have past data. Remember, from a technical point of view, it is so important to use past data to understand the overall flow of trend, to understand where price is right now compared to where it was a couple of years back. With this kind of limited data, I am pretty much sure they would have come up with an IPO around 5th of September. That is the reason the candle data starts on 5th of September, which is almost a month and a half back. So no problem. Let's go to the parent company, because at the end we want to understand, is there any potential for this stock, right? Looking at the bigger time frame picture, clearly you can see prices have been going up based on the robust financial data, right? We have gone through screener.in, where you can type in the ticker symbol of the company, or you can type the entire name of the company. You will get its entire details. Using that detail and trying to get a gist of how are the prices appreciating, are the financial data values appreciating or depreciating, right? Are they like positively growing, or are the numbers having setbacks? So we get the gist from crunching those numbers, those datas, and then eventually we come to the charts. Clearly it's been in an uptrend. If I need to mark some certain important pivot lines, or you can quickly mark over here. We got one over here, prices over here, then here. Now, as you can see, just based on a quick visual representation of this particular chart, when we put a path, remember I use a lot of visual, and I like my analysis in trading to be as depictful, as visual, with arrows, with drawings, with lines, because it's easier to understand. It's easier to understand rather than putting in numbers and making it complicated unnecessarily, right? So a quick draw just to understand or to get a pictorial representation of what the charts are trying to show. We use the path to get some clarity in terms of direction. Now, prices did correct as per what Sophia has been mentioning. This pullback is too big and there is panic in the markets. I get it, but remember, as I had already mentioned, and I had mentioned almost so many times in the previous sessions, that Warren Buffett says, and remember, when someone of that caliber says that, gives a quote or gives a very meaningful sentence, it is very important to understand. When people are fearful, be greedy. When people are greedy, be fearful. Right now, the market sentiment is fearful. So, do we have to enter the market right now? Not at all. We will take our time. Don't worry about it. We have time, all right? But we can prepare ourselves in terms of, is there a possible opportunity that might come in the future, right? So this is a quick glance as to what the trend has been showing on. Remember, now people would be also saying like, Harsh, you focus a lot on the daily time frames. Remember, guys and girls, men and beautiful women, when I focus on the daily time frame, it is for me to get a clear gist of what the company is doing based on a certain set of period in the past. Remember, technical traders rely a lot on historical data, right? Because the entire crux of technical trading relies on the fact that if price has reacted in a certain way, in a certain fashion in the past, it will enact in the same way in present and in the future. Technical trading is all about repetition. Cycles keep repeating, trades, patterns, structures keep repeating. So when we look at certain on the daily time frame, we get a big gist because the big banks, the big institutions, the FIIs, the DIIs, foreign institutional investors, domestic institutional investors, they generally hold position. They do not enter and exit on a daily basis. They park, they create levels at certain areas on if you look at the technical, if you look at this particular chart, a typical FII, all right, foreign institutional investor, or a typical domestic institutional investor, these institutional investors, whether foreign or domestic, are big banks, big institutions, big financial services company, who have tons and tons of money. They cannot inject the market with all the money at once, or they cannot liquidate all the money at once. They have to, do it in phases. They have to do it instead. The prices, they keep buying at these levels. They can never buy in one direction because, like I had mentioned, in a marketplace such as the Indian share market, there has to be a buyer and a seller to facilitate a transaction. If there is no seller or there's no buyer, you cannot have a marketplace, right? It will be like I'm just sitting all by myself. The marketplace thrives. The marketplace functions on sellers and buyers coming together and collaborating to initiate transaction. So banks and institutions keep buying. Whenever you have a retracement correction, the FIIs, just let us keep it simple, the institutional investors, all right? So the IIs, correct? Leave the Fs and leave the Ds, but the IIs, the institutional investors, will always start to buy. They will always park their money and let price appreciate, or they will remove funds, right? And park it somewhere else. So that is in the form of prices turning bearish, right? So as of now, the trend, the bigger time frame trend is up, and in the midterm to the short term time frame, the prices are correcting. So you can clearly see the last time price created another higher high was somewhere around July, right? So July, August, September, October, almost 3 months back, correct? Now the corrections have started to take place. Did the price come back to its previous support area to hold prices? Yes. Now the prices has flipped, correct? So the area, correct? Or let me just highlight it with a highlighter. The area, and let me change the color, otherwise people will get confused based on the color annotation, right? Let's put it yellow. Yellow is a little too, and let's increase its intensity, right? So we make it a little darker, correct? Let me put it again. So this area of interest, the last time when price came in to create that to the support area, right? From where it's from the support area, prices started to bounce like a ball. You throw a ball onto the floor, it bounces, correct? Now that the bounce is broken and the prices have started to show more bearishness in the market, remember, when prices start to go down, the prices start to get cheaper. You start to get prices at a discount. All right. I hope, I mean, I had to write it half half because of the limitation of space. I can use the text box, but you get the point. You get when prices are correcting, especially for stocks, especially for shares that have been traded on the market for years. All right, when such what you call a well-known company, right? Strong numbers, strong credentials, strong financial data. When they are correcting, it's like if you were buying an Apple phone, right? I mean, right now currently we have the Apple 16, the 16 Pro, and the 16 Pro Max. I guess 16, correct? But if you had to buy an Apple 13 Pro right now, people would be like, yes, it's cheaper, correct? So let's buy it. The same mindset, the same analogy is depicted over here. Once the prices broke, yeah, the prices are going down. But when you have certain news events where Motilal Oswal, a big reputed company, trying to give its decision to buy, to uphold Raymond, it is significant. So price right now is correcting itself. Having said that, prices have done what? Prices have shifted from bullish sentiment where it got its support and it reacted. Now it's come on to the bearish sentiment, right? So now this bearish sentiment has to be, studied more to understand whether what can something be done on this or not. Let's have a look. This is the current and the most recent price data, right? So almost from July to August. So an average of 3 months to really start getting into the nitty gritties to understand. Okay, can we see some movement? Remember, if you go to technical analysis, right? There are many jargons used as resistance, support. So the last time price had created a support, all right, I hope everyone can see it. This color, this green shaded color, it acted as a support. But the moment the support breaks, right, the moment price comes and takes out that support area, we look at it and we call it as a flip. The support has now turned into a resistance, right, which was green, has now turned red. Green for support and red for resistance. Now that prices have flipped, after holding, the prices have fallen down. So now prices have come exactly to that area to see, and it's already reacting. So prices have already started taking into factor of which was the support now has turned into resistance. Sophia is writing, this is a correction. That is correct, Sophia. It is a correction. Now market, when you look at trading or when you look at charts, there might be one person who might be looking at it and having a consent or an opinion that prices are to be are expected to go in a particular direction. Someone else might be looking at it from another picture and then be looking at, all right, no, but based on this particular market information and the way the price is structured on the chart, we can see the opposite movement. So there is always going to be a tussle. There's always going to be a conflict of opinions, whether it's long, short, right? But based on right now, what as we can see, prices had created bearish movement, right? By creating the first low swing, prices have corrected themselves, have come back to the last support area from where prices have already started to retrace. So as of now, this particular chart is not giving any clear signs of entry. Remember, if prices had created a certain structure as we had seen on Mazgao, I will show you and I will try to connect the or try to show you, what exactly as a trader, I would be looking at for the trade. When the when the higher time frame, the bigger term picture resonates with the smaller term picture, that is where we want to go. When prices are dominant in one direction and the correction takes place, but once the correction takes place and it resonates or it coincides, it again flips back to the direction of the higher term frame picture, such as this illustration that I'm trying to show you, where the last The movement has been to the upside, correct? As you can see, for now, for this particular depiction, as you can see over here, please focus on the red box. Prices were in an uptrend. Now that prices started to create, these lower highs and lower lows. But the moment price creates a fresh higher high, it coincides, it resonates with the higher time frame movement to the upside, correct? That is the kind of picture that I'm planning to see. We are not just entering based on an article, correct? We go through articles, we understand what the markets are currently doing. But please bear in mind, if the technicals are not matching, uh, if the technicals are not giving a clear picture, then we do not enter the markets. We do not take unwanted trades. Remember, each trade we take, has a risk associated with. So we want to make sure that we take the best trades in order to avoid or in order to mitigate unwanted losses, correct? So as you can see, let me remove the illustration, and the example that I wanted to showcase you was Mazgao, right? The trade idea that we were talking in the morning. Raymond right now, though the higher time frame movement, as you can see, has been to the upside. Yes, I completely agree. But when it comes to the current market structure, I cannot see clarity because when prices have been clearing lower highs and lower lows and prices have started to correct themselves, so we are not finding clear trade ideas. For a reason, the prices had created a higher high. Now it resonates with a higher time frame picture, correct? The prices are want to go up. Then we would have looked for trade opportunities. But right now, there is no clarity on this particular stock, so we keep it apart. But if you wanted to see a practical example of how the picture of the higher time frame resonates with the lower time frame to go with the higher time frame, that is Mazgao, right? As discussed in the morning, I hope people are aware about it and people have not forgotten because this had been discussed in today's live streaming in the morning. All right, a clear example, and this is the example when, as you can see, the higher time frame picture, right? Once the higher time frame picture, which is this, right? Prices have been going in an upswing, uptrend. Yes, prices have been correcting. If you kind of compare Mazgao with Raymond in terms of its structure, the prices have gone up because the stocks are doing well. Individual stocks, Mazgao is doing well, Raymond is doing well. When they have their correction phases, correct? Once they have the correction phase, I want them to again resonate or align with the bigger term time frame picture. On Mazgao, as you can see clearly, once the prices started to correct themselves by creating lower highs and lower lows, all right, once the prices corrected themselves by creating the first higher high, and not just creating the first higher high, it's going with the flow. You see this uptrend movement, right? This arrow, not my arrow, but the arrow, opposite arrow, correct? So now that prices have been going up, and now that prices have been correcting themselves, and now that the price has realigned, the technical term used in trading is called realignment. Realignment is nothing but if the higher time frame picture, the bigger time frame picture is bullish, we are expecting it's bullish sentiment, and the lower time frame shifts from bearish to bullish. All right, let me repeat it again. If the bigger time frame picture is bullish and the smaller time frame picture, the closest time frame reference picture, it turns from bearish to bullish, so it resonates. It you know how when you're changing gears in a car, right? I mean, now everyone drives, most of us drive automatic, but I'm a big fan of manual cars. I like analog stuff. So when we are shifting gears in a car, you have to press the clutch and you have to shift the gear. What is the clutch doing? The clutch takes out the gear plate and resonates the smaller gear plate to, they need to come in sync. Then only the clutch plate can engage and the gear can change. So something similar to this, the example was a little. I'm a guy and we love cars, right? So we love to talk about cars also. So once the bigger time frame picture, right, is bullish, but the smaller time frame picture turns from bearish too bullish, that is when we want to get resonated. Sophia is asking, do you see the main money flowing in and out? Yes, in a way, yes, because the main money that you can see, remember candles, these candles, I have already talked so much about it, that the amount of liquidity that you need to inject in even one stock comes into, hundreds of crores of rupees just to move it by one tick. Price might be at 4,000. To move price from 4,000 to 4,001, that's one tick. You need crores and crores of money. So when you see candles of this caliber, moving in terms of a person, once again, a percentage of almost, like, for example, I'm talking about this candle, a movement of 18.69, almost touching 20%. You need to have significant amount of capital. These can be only carried out by FIIs and DIIs, right? So we, as looking at it from a technical point of view, we can clearly see that yes, the FIIs or the D, basically any institutional investor who has the capability. Remember, it can never be one. It has to be a combination of quite a few, right? Not even one investor, an institutional investor, can pump in so much of money, so much of capital into the market. So the prices, once they create a higher high and they resonate with the bigger time frame picture, is when we want to go with it, right? So Mazgao has the technical aspect of giving confirmation, whereas Raymond does not. So we keep Raymond aside for now. All right. And what are the questions? I can't see any other questions besides Sophia writing in the group. I need more people to be active, right? In the morning, I had also discussed that since we're going to have more and more people joining into our live streaming sessions, it is so important to make sure that the medium of communication is also very important for people. Right now, we have an English speaking majority right now in our live streaming sessions, but maybe down the line, we might start onboarding a lot of Hindi speaking students and customers as well. So I just want to keep reiterating that yes, make sure that if you're not able to understand, or if you're having any doubt in your mind, or if you have any query or any feedback for me also, please do write it in the comment box so that I can do my best to read those comments to and do my part of explaining them in the best way possible. So I hope things work out, right? Let's be more interactive. It is more of a friend to a friend, right? I'm no professor. I'm not saying that I know completely everything about the financial markets. Even me, even after having 8 years of experience, right? I am still learning every day. Every day comes with new opportunities to learn. We make mistakes and we learn from those mistakes, right? So it's a learning curve that continues forever, right? The more we learn, the more we earn, right? Remember what they say: if Harsh is here, nothing to fear, correct? Sophia is asking, do you see the main money flowing in and out? Yes, the main money is flowing out in terms of FIIs, but in terms of DIIs, the domestic institutional investors, we have banks, we have companies out there, we have institutions out there, who are loaded with money. So they are signaling, they are signaling in a very subtle manner that this company, which is Raymond, has potential to go up, because they are indicating, or they are giving a decision. They are telling out to the public. It's a big thing, because once a reputed company says out to the public that they are looking to buy, or they are offering a buy, right? It has substantial, weightage to what they say, because it is not a small company. It is a huge company which itself is, handling billions of dollars. So why not? If they are saying, we just have to, take into consideration all those and connect the dot. The price is too high. Price is a relative term, Sophia. I mean, the price is high or low depending upon what, it depends. For a person right now looking at just the last couple of candles, might say the price is in the center. The price right now is right in the center. If you compare the low and the high for this particular swing, all right, we got this high and we got the previous low. Right now, price is right in the middle. So if you look at this, it is somewhere right in the middle. For price, if it was somewhere at the corner, we would be like price is low. And if price is somewhere on the higher side, we would say price is high. So There is, whether the price is high or low, it's very relative and it's very subjective, correct? And is there a low price strategy? Well, Sophia, for this particular stock, since I do not have the confirmation of the higher time frame resonating with the readjustment of the lower time frame, I am going to be on the sidelines and I'm going to wait because, as I had mentioned, if prices had, this is the law. Let's keep it simple, yeah, to the point. The prices have been currently bearish, right? The prices have been bearish. Now, this is just a correction. We have to see prices realigning with the higher time frame. Remember, the higher time frame is to the upside. Once price realigns and creates, a fresh higher high. Remember, this is a low, this is a high. Right now, price is creating a higher low as of now. I do not know what it holds for the future, but if price does go above and creates a higher high, I would be more than interested to let you know that we can do, we can look for trading signal. Sophia's writing the painting is very good. Yes, I'm today's modern Picasso, correct? I mean, that's what I keep telling you. I love making my charts as colorful, as descriptive, as visual as possible, so it's easier, for everyone to understand. I hope that is a good point, or are you trying to pull my leg? I don't know, but it's okay. I mean, till the time it's being interactive, I don't mind, right? I don't mind making fun of myself. I don't mind keeping it, lively, keeping it peppy, keeping it happy, right? Because if I keep it boring, people are going to sleep, all right? Now let's quickly look at what other charts are. Let's go back to trading view. Oh, we are on trading view. Perfect. Remember, the markets are still running out. Right now, it is around 3 p.m. The markets are going to close in the next 15 to minutes, two and a half to half an hour. So, based on today's movement of price, remember, you would be like, why is Harsh always going to Nifty and Sensex? It is very, very important to understand because if we look, always start from the bigger players, right? Bigger players are always the index represents the economy of the country. The economy of the country dictates how the prices as a whole, how the stocks are going to perform as a whole, not individual stocks but stocks as a whole, right? So prices had gapped up, but they're kind of having bearish sentiment, but you can clearly see the prices are holding, right? So we, based on our technical analysis and years of experience, we do expect that this should hold, and from here prices should or are expected to go higher. There was another article which was of interest to me, and it is important to talk about it, which is about the sector, right? Remember, even in the morning, we were focusing on sector, and it is based on this sector analysis that we came up to understand that yes, the shipbuilding, the ship manufacturing, the ship service industry is, spearheading the bullish sentiment in the index. But since this is the daily, remember, daily, the prices are going to fluctuate. There might be a company which is highly positive in the morning, but till the end of the closing of that particular market session's day, it can be the complete opposite. Remember, it's not like just because it's green in the morning, it has to be green in the evening or in the afternoon, or just because it is red in the morning, it has to be red till afternoon. So their shipbuilding is still at 2%, right? Based on today's market data. But there is also something unique, which is about the photographic products. Now, photographic products are like, what are photographic products? Let's click on it and we will understand what it is about. Remember, we are talking about today. We are not talking of the next month or the next or the quarter or semi-annually or annually, right? Now, photographic products are basically, I mean, I hope everyone is aware what are photographic products. Photographic products are basically, come on, I guess everyone in this day and age uses their phones, right? So the biggest selling USP, unique selling proposition for a phone is going to be what? It's going to be the camera, correct? So that is one part of it. Photographic companies, right? Photographic product. It's not just about cameras, it's about digitalization. Marketing also comes into this, photos, shoots, marketing, promos, they play a huge and substantial role in making people aware, making the masses aware that yes, such a product exists, or such a company exists, such a service exists. Remember, there is a saying in Hindi, "Jo dikta hai, wo bikta hai." What it generally means is, if something is not aware to people, people are not aware about it, right? If people see a product, people can think about the product or service. If people can think about the product or service, then people might eventually buy the product or service. So there's a lot of emphasis that goes on to marketing, and photographic products are one of the biggest, right? How can you take a photo without a camera? How can you take a photo without the light, without the right lightings, without the right setup? So it's very important. It's not just the camera, it's the way things are, portrayed, the marketing, the photography, the editing, right? Video editing. So they all come under this particular sector. So now the photographic products, or the photographic product sector has been doing substantially well, right? It is currently at 2.42, right? It's even taken care, it's crossed even the shipbuilding industry as of today's data, right? I mean, we had talked about shipbuilding industry about, when we had looked at it from a monthly perspective, when we had looked at it from a quarterly perspective, when we had looked at it from a semi-annual perspective, and when we had looked at it from a yearly perspective. The shipbuilding industry is the backbone of the trade industry that takes place across the globe. So you cannot play with this. But when today, just based on today's market data, how it's performing, how well it's performing, we are talking about the photographic product sector, right? So companies that come under photographic product sector, you have Jindal Photo, you have Photoquip India, you have Scanpoint, you have Choksi, again, it's a sector. So not each and every company in the sector is, performing or underperforming, yeah. But when it comes to Jindal Photo, Jindal Photo, I mean, you've heard about Jindal Group, right? Who hasn't heard about Jindal Group? Jindal Group is a pretty big conglomerate, right? It is not just having one company, it has many, many, many. It is mostly into the manufacture of aluminium, and they are into construction, real estate. They are heavily, diversified. But Jindal Photo is one of their sister companies, which is related to photo production, video production, and those kind of things. Mr. Lee is asking, how can I follow you to make trades? Mr. Lee, don't worry about it. We have hot stocks. Hot stocks are certain stocks which are sent out by me based on my team of researchers and analysts. We make sure to provide you with the best and the most suitable trading opportunities. So you just have to keep being a part of this live streaming session on a daily basis, right? It's not that you just come to the session once and you will start making money. You have to be consistent with coming into our live streaming sessions. Make sure it is a part of your life, right? Because when trading opportunities come, whether they come today, whether they come tomorrow, whether they come day after tomorrow, is not in our hands, right? We can predict, we can speculate, but when will it happen? What time will it happen is not in our control. So, Mr. Lee, if you want to follow and make money based on our trades, just make sure you stay consistent by attending or all our live streaming sessions. Whenever we come across any particular live trading opportunity or a hot stock, we will be the first ones to let you know. I mean, I'm very much sure for people besides Sophia, who is doing phenomenally well, because she is the one who is taking our trade ideas, taking our hot stock ideas and making money from it. We were talking about black box, right? BBOX. BBOX, one of the trade ideas given. Look at it, right? The entry had been mentioned. We had even, informed our customers of closing the trade at 5%. For people who did not close the price at 5%, remember the price shot up, or today's price gapped up by almost 4%. So if you were already making 5%, you would be sitting on a target of 9%. 9% in a day. Okay, in 2 days. I'm like, is that bad? Come on, you cannot be like wrong in that, right? Nonetheless, the prices had gapped up severely, but for some particular reason, there has been some backlash due to which the data has not been as prominent. We had even mentioned about Naparol. Naparol was also advised by us to close at 5% prices. If you can see the yellow line, I had deleted the entry and the targets. Sorry for the inconvenience, but for people who had marked these levels, right? For people who had marked these, the level one, right? Just let me change the color and write it for your easy understanding. Sophia writes, can we get in again? Sophia, I would suggest we hold on to this one and we look for other better opportunities rather than entering on this trade again. So entry, we have then target one, target one. Hmm. And target 2, right? Target 1, target 2. Target 1, let me denote it by green color, because remember the color annotation that I will be using would mostly, right, more or less be the same color depiction. So target entry is always blue, and target 1 is green, and target 2 is red. Now when you decide to close at 5%, remember 5% is going to be somewhere here. Now that can be denoted, I don't know, by maybe pink, magenta, purple. We do our part in making sure that people are able to understand that though we have given targets, right? Targets is target 1 and target 2. But when price reaches at 5%, right? Let me just write it also 5%. Trade closure. 5% trade closure. It just suggests that once price hits 5%, we generally let the client or we inform the customer that the price has achieved a 5% price increment from place we have entered. So you're sitting on 5%, and you can decide whether you want to close it. Because 5% in a day now can, if you do the math, if you go back and reverse engineer and make a list or make a stats of like, if you're making 5% and if you're trading almost for, this is a hypothetical scenario, but just to understand, even if you're getting 4 trades, okay, if you are on an average making 5%, and in a week, I'm not even considering 5 days, I'm just considering 4, right? So what is 5 fours are 20. So you are looking at an appreciation of 20% profit, all right? So 20% profit, that is significant compared to what people invest in banks, invest in, sorry, not invest, but they put their money into like fixed deposits or some other financial instruments, and they're able to make this number, which is 20%, right? I'm talking of 20%. Just 20% in a year. Now, if you compare it to the intensity of where these profits can be made almost in a week, if not more, So, and I can also back it up by showing you our Excel sheet, right? Our Excel sheet, which, which shows all the list of hot stocks that have been mentioned since the last year, or since the last month, sorry, not last year, but last month, right? Almost since around, let me show it to you because it's important to understand. Many people think that, okay, maybe you made money on this trade. What about other trades? Remember, it is not a 1 day affair. It has to be consistent and regular. Are we going to get trades every day? No. But once we look at the trades, we want to make sure that we are making money. So I think, yes, this stock is out. Yes, we are out from this trade. We are not entering into this particular trade. But it is very important to make you understand in terms of how the profit works, right? Remember, it is like any other business. Remember, trading is like any other business. It needs, you need to analyze, you need to have, a blueprint of what you expect, how much are you foreseeing to make, how do you plan to make, so you have to back, you call it as reverse engineer. Let me just type it out. I mean, if you don't understand the meaning, you can just go to Google and type it out. But what I'm trying to say is, you have to reverse engineer. You cannot just be like, okay, I can make some X amount of profit and we can see it doesn't work. You need to have a plan. From that plan, you need to go back in, and reverse it out to find out how to start from step one to understand or to reach that ultimate target, right? So just giving you a gist, the reason why we mentioned 5% trade closure is for this particular reason. Just to close it, at a modest 5%. Remember, our targets go well beyond 10%, 20%. Now, when will prices go there? Maybe, maybe not. But once price goes into 5%, and if on an average, I can even reduce it. But I'm just being very modest, around 4. Okay, you want me to be more modest? Let me make it even less. Let me change it to 2. If you're able to get even entry on 2 trades in a week, remember trades, I'm giving you the shortest of the shortest, the lowest of the lowest numbers, right? 10 twos are 20, like 10% in a week. The more trades, the more hot stocks we get. If this converts and this changes to 4, as we had discussed earlier, the price, the profitability goes up, right? 5 fours are 20. If for each trade, for each day of the week, if you're getting, there are 5 days, right, in a working week. So five, let's put five. Five fives are how much? 25%. Tell me one financial product out there that is able to show you these kind of profitability ratios. There is none, right? And I need to show you not just by some random numbers about it. Sophia is writing, I'm thinking about going in. Sophia, I would suggest to wait. We have just exited this particular trade. We might look for another better trade, right? But my advice would be to see out from this trade. It is important to understand because this Excel sheet is of vital importance. Many people are like, Harsh, we need this data. We need to see this data for our own because this data is of crucial importance. If you're not able to, just look at one stock, maybe someone would have taken the trade idea and it's not performing well. Then people have this negative, connotation in their heads like, Harsh, but you told us to take this trade and it did not work out. Remember, trading is not a one-man show. It is not a one. It's not about a one-man show. It is not a one-stock show. Trading needs a culmination of trades. We need, data. We need a big. We need more trades, not just one, not just two. We need trades. 5, 6, 7, 8, 20, 30, 100. The more bigger the sample size, the better the options, right? Now going back from 18th of September all the way to 17th of October, almost a month. Look at the number of stocks given. Look at the entry price, the 5% profit target, whether price has gone to the first target price or the first target or the second target is irrelevant. But if we are just considering even a modest 5, remember modest, all right? I'm not even telling like it has to be, it has to go and hit either your 5% or it has to go and, go in negative. Even a modest 5% with these current stocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 to 15 trade ideas which have been settled now. Each one giving around 5%, a modest 5%. You can clearly see you're already sitting at 60% profitability, 60 plus. Remember, based on our calculations, based on the sheet that I have, but for some unknown reason, our software doesn't allow to showcase it on the live streaming session. Otherwise, I would have definitely shown you the screenshot as well too. And that has shown an 87% profitability in this month itself, as in from the mid of September to mid of October, just in a span of 1 month, 30 calendar days, 22 working days, you are able to generate 80%, 87, 87, 87. I'm like, there is no way any other institution is being able to make those kind of returns. So it is very important you stick with us. You keep attending these live trading webinars because it is only going to benefit you. You are getting the analysis, You are getting the hot stocks once the right setup is formed, and you are getting even technical trading education in the third webinar, which happens after the market closes. So what you're getting the best of all. So I highly suggest you to be more active in these live webinars, to be more consistent. That is my kind request to all of you. So if you want, you can quickly take a screenshot of this just for your reference. Once the Excel sheet is available with me, and once we have rectified the software, I will definitely get back to you, and we will show you the physical calculations based on using the Excel or the WPS software. All right. Coming back to a quick review. Remember, being afternoon, I still get it. I hope none of you are sleeping. I hope all of you are awake. I am awake. I'm trying, I'm being alive. I'm being enthusiastic about it. I just want to make sure everyone is on the same pace as me, right? I hope none of you are slept off, correct? Everyone is here to make money. Remember, the markets are running. The markets have just closed. No issues in that. We are here. We will do our best in order to provide you with analysis. We will do our best to provide you with hot stocks, right? Trading opportunities. Once the market settles down, I will do my best to make sure that I provide you with the right set of technical knowledge that is required to excel in the financial markets, right? So a quick recap, a quick summary of what has happened in today's live webinar. We started with a quick glance at what the Nifty was showing, what the Sensex was showing, and based on that, we still saw the prices gapped up but had closed down. So we had to make sure to just be aware about the current scenarios happening in the market. The markets are still running, will close in the next 8 minutes. There has been bearish sentiment based on the 425 plus companies that are expected to showcase their financial data in this week, starting from today, the 21st of October to 25th of October. So, with a lot of uncertainty, with a lot of big companies on the line, expecting to flourish out their data, and for people to connect the dots and to understand whether the data, being mentioned as speculative data, trajectory data, does it match with the practical, the real time data? That is where the skimmishness, the pessimistic, the indecisive character of the consumer has been come out, right? So we just want to be a little careful at this phase. Let the market show, let the data come out, and for trades that were discussed, we had Mazgar, right? How the financial data and the technical data when combined, they are resonating, and they're giving you a clear sign. But based on the fundamentals and technicals, we have got a green sign. But as mentioned, we do want prices to retrace back to the neckline before we go long. This is a very clear example to understand how the fundamental data along with the technicalities of chart trading, technical analysis, when combined together, can give you significant results. As well as we had even mentioned about our trading records, certain trades that were taken by some of our beloved members in this group and who have had great success, great phenomenon, a success, a profitability of 87% in a month is no joke, guys and girls. I mean, think about it. We provide you with analysis, we provide you with hot stocks when the right scenarios or situations arise, and we also provide you with trading education. You are getting the best of all the three. That is why it is so important to be a part of this interactive, ongoing, optimistic group. You will miss out a lot if you don't decide to be a part of it. So please make sure you are being a part of this, right? We had even talked about Raymond, right? How Motilal Oswal, a big company, one of the biggest share brokers in India, having substantial reputation, having a lot of backing, is giving Raymond a push to the upside by being decisive, by saying out to the public to go, to buy, and expecting an appreciation of 30%. These numbers are significant, these numbers are huge. But when we resonated it, with the financial data as well as the technical data on based on chart trading, we were not able to find a clear, decisive price movement to the direction that we intended it to, because prices have been bullish. But right now, remember, the bigger time frame picture is bullish, but right now the current picture is been bearish, right? So now prices, the bigger time frame picture is bullish, the smaller time frame picture is better. We are still not getting a clear indication as what to do, whether to go in, go out. I would suggest, rather than getting in, or it's better to be clear. Once a trade creates, once a clear pattern forms and it aligns, right? The gears align, it resonates with the bigger time frame picture. That is when I would be interested to jump on the trade. Till that time, I would take a step back and see what is happening. So if you had been telling whether it's been going up, down, whether it is relatively um, expensive or cheap, whether high or low, you get the point. This is how even a consumer thinks. With these kind of opinions, with these kind of judgments into the market, that makes the market so lucrative. A person might be saying to go long, at the same time another person might be telling to go short. There is so much of decisions that keep happening in the markets. People want to go long, people want to go short. So but right now, the best scenario for this particular stock at the current moment is to take a step back. Don't take a trade. Don't take a trade for now. Let us get clarity in terms of market structure. Let's get the backing of the technical analysis to get better informed decisions, right? And we were even talking about the photographic, right? The industry or the sector which is responsible for manufacturing, which plays a huge and significant role in the marketing sector, right? Without cameras, without editing tools, without the structure of studios, these market, what do we call it as? Photographic, right? Photographic product sector, right? With these sectors, there is so much. We were talking about Jindal. There are so many companies out there, and the photographic product sector has been spearheading with the bullish sentiment of the index as of today. Remember, we had compared it to the shipbuilding. Now, shipbuilding is more to do with trade of economies, right? So they are robust, and whether that is daily market data, whether it is quarterly market data, whether it is semi-annually market data, or whether it is annual market data. I'm talking of the range of consensus, right from the daily to the yearly. The shipbuilding industry has been robust, and that is why when we look at a trade like Mazgao Dock Company, we would want to be a part of it, right? When the financial data and the technical data combine, when the financial data and the technical analysis combine, they give us the best opportunity. Coming back to the photographic product sector, they have been doing very well, around 4% appreciation as of today. So a big number, a big push to the index from this particular sector. And why not? I mean, everyone wants to get known, right? There is so much of marketing that is emphasized in today's world, especially due to social media. Everyone has a phone, so things have to look good. People need to be aware. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. What you see gets sold. So, coming on to the end conclusion of today's live streaming session, I hope there was good amount of information that people were able to learn from. How we connect the dots, right? We need to make sure we connect the dots. How we use the financial data, how we use the articles, right? Coming from well-known trusted sources, and how we connect it to technical analysis and we combine a combo of strength in terms of getting all the data resonated with what we expect the price to do. And once these dots connect, that is when the magic happens, right? That is when we get good trade ideas, right? And some of them could be hot stocks too. So I hope I have been of good help today. I hope you have learned something. I hope none of you might be sleeping. So we'll take a break and we will come back for the third live streaming session. But till that time, it's Harsh here. Remember, when Harsh is here, there is nothing to fear, right? Just make sure you are always consistent in attending the seminars, making sure you're learning. If you have any queries, you can write it down. I will be more than happy to help you out, do my best in terms of trying out to make sure that your queries are being answered to, right? Because we want to make sure that we can provide you the best service possible, right? So until next time, take care and see ya. Bye.